Let's start with a really powerful idea, a central, liberating truth about life after retirement. It's this. The only way to find lasting peace is by consciously shedding the identity that was forged by your career and building a second, more resilient self. Today, we're going to walk through a framework for doing exactly that, for navigating this next chapter with a real sense of purpose and vitality.
You know, this isn't about just finding new hobbies to fill the time. It's something much deeper. It's a deliberate act of reconstruction. It's about accepting that the peace you're looking for, well, it won't be found by looking backward at who you were. It's found by actively building something new, something that isn't defined by a company or a title, but is truly, authentically your own.
And this is the question at the heart of it all, right, isn't it? For decades, you were the manager, the teacher, the engineer. Your title was this perfect little shorthand for who you were. And when that's gone, yeah, the silence can be pretty deafening. But I want you to see this question not as something intimidating, but as an invitation. It's the starting point of a pretty fascinating journey.
So here's our roadmap for this explainer. We'll start by looking at this unspoken crisis so many people face, and we'll get really clear on what we're actually losing in the transition. Then we'll dive into the core solution, building what we call a second identity, and I'll give you a clear action plan. We'll wrap up by looking at the resilient self you can create, and we'll pinpoint the very first step you can take today.
Okay, first things first, we need to frame this problem correctly. This feeling of being lost, of suddenly feeling irrelevant, it's so common that we have to stop seeing it as some kind of personal problem. It's not, it's a structural one.
The first few months of retirement can feel like the best vacation ever, right? There's travel, time with family, all those projects you've been putting off. But then, when that initial novelty wears off, this quiet question can start to creep in. Okay, now what? If you've ever felt that, I want you to know you are absolutely not alone. It's a predictable and totally understandable part of this whole transition.
And this, right here, is maybe the most important shift in perspective we're going to talk about. That feeling of being adrift, it is not a sign that you did something wrong or that you're somehow failing at retirement. It's a signal. It's your mind calling you to action, to begin the really vital work of building your next chapter. Think of it less like a bug and more like a feature of modern life.
So, to answer that call to action, we first have to understand the mechanics of what's really going on under the hood. Why does this feel so destabilizing? Well, it's because you've lost the main psychological anchors that have held your identity steady for decades.
See, this isn't just some vague feeling of sadness. The anxiety has a very specific source. When your career ends, 3 invisible but incredibly powerful structures are pulled out from under you, pretty much all at once. So let's break down exactly what they are.
These 3 anchors are so woven into our lives, we often don't even notice them until they're gone. First, there's your role. It was your identity shorthand, right? How you introduced yourself at a party. Second, structure. Your job gave you a script for your days, your weeks, even your years. And third, social validation. Things like a performance review, a promotion, or just a simple great job from a colleague. Those were all constant little pings telling you that you mattered. And the loss of those anchors has a direct consequence. Status anxiety is that nagging feeling of, where do I fit in now? And role ambiguity is that echo in your head saying, what am I even supposed to be doing all day? This is the psychological void that we need to intentionally fill.
You know, the psychologist Erik Erikson had a fantastic term for this deep human drive, generativity. It's that need we all have to create, to nurture, and to contribute things that will outlast us. For years, your career was a huge engine for that feeling. The risk now, without it, is what he called stagnation, that feeling of being unproductive and disconnected. So the real challenge of retirement is to find new, powerful sources of generativity that have nothing to do with a paycheck.
So what this all boils down to is a massive shift in how you operate. For maybe 40 years, you played within a system of external rules and validation. Now, the mission is to build a new system from the inside out, based on your own values, your own curiosities, and your own definition of a life well lived. Okay, so we've mapped out the problem and what causes it. Now, let's get to the good part, the solution. And this isn't just powerful, it's deeply empowering. This is where we stop reacting and start becoming the architects of our own lives. This right here is maybe the most important idea in this entire explainer. Your first identity,
Your career self might feel like it was just something that happened to you. But the truth is, you built it, piece by piece, over years of effort. And the amazing news is, you can do it again. You have all the skills, all the wisdom, and all the power to build a new identity, only this time with total intention.
You can't just leave that void left by your old identity and hope for the best. You have to replace it with something just as robust. The solution is to install a new operating system, a new protocol for living that gives you all the same psychological benefits your career did, but entirely on your own terms. We call this the second identity protocol.
And the foundation of this new life rests on 3 key pillars. First, mastery. This is the deep, satisfying process of getting good at something, which builds real competence and confidence. Second, contribution. Finding structured ways to pass on your wisdom, which gives you a powerful sense of purpose and relevance. And third, scheduled structure, deliberately creating new routines that replace the old work script. This structure is what turns your good intentions into reality.
So what does this actually look like? Well, mastery isn't just dabbling, it's scheduled, complex learning, like a new language or a musical instrument, which we know is amazing for brain health. Contribution is more than just helping out here and there. It's about formalizing how you share your wisdom, maybe through mentoring or teaching. And that scheduled structure mandate, it just means creating new, non-negotiable appointments with yourself that give your days shape and momentum.
And when you get these 3 pillars in place, they don't just fill your time. They create this powerful, self-sustaining engine for mental vitality that give you the same psychological nutrients your career did: progress, purpose, structure, but in a way that you control completely.
Okay, knowing the theory is one thing, but putting it into practice is something else entirely. So how do you actually start building this second identity? Let's break it down into a clear 4-step action plan designed to help you begin this process safely and effectively.
The whole idea here is to be intentional, not accidental. This isn't about stumbling into a new life. It's about designing it, using gentle but really well-defined steps.
Okay, here's the 4-step process. First, you're going to write a personal mission statement for your new identity. This is your North Star. Second, you'll schedule a non-negotiable block of time in your calendar for your mastery skill, and you'll treat it like a critical work meeting. Third, you'll actively look for a formal way to contribute your wisdom, moving from just having knowledge to actively teaching it. And fourth, and this one is crucial, you perform a ritual to symbolically let go of the old self and signal a new beginning. Now, I know what you might be thinking. That last one sounds a little out there, right? A symbolic shedding ritual? What exactly is that, and why is it so important?
Well, it's just a physical act that helps create psychological closure. It could be as simple as boxing up your old work awards, or finally deleting those old work files from your computer, or donating your old work clothes. The point is to create an intentional moment that tells your brain, that chapter is officially over. A new one is beginning now. It's a surprisingly powerful way to create a clean break.
Now that we have a plan, let's just pull back for a second and look at the bigger picture. This process isn't just about surviving retirement. It's about forging a version of yourself that is more authentic and, frankly, more resilient than ever before.
And here's the beautiful, kind of ironic part of all this. That initial crisis, that feeling of being lost, is actually the necessary catalyst for something better. It forces you to stop running on autopilot and to start asking the big questions. It pushes you to build a life based not on a job title, but on your deepest, most authentic values. This comparison really gets to the heart of the transformation. On one side, you've got the career self, which was largely defined by external things. Your company, your boss, your industry. It was vulnerable. But on the other side, you have the second identity. It's defined internally, built on your own values, and because of that, it is incredibly resilient and deeply authentic. And that's its superpower, really. When you are the one who defines success, when you are the one who sets the goals, you are no longer at the mercy of external forces. Your sense of self-worth is anchored in something that no one can ever take away from you. And this isn't just feel-good stuff. The benefits are real. Proactively engaging in mastery and contribution literally keeps your brain young by promoting neuroplasticity. It replaces the anxiety of feeling obsolete with a deep, quiet certainty of enduring purpose. You're not just passing time anymore, you are actively growing. We've covered a lot of ground, from the crisis to the solution, and the long-term benefits. So now, let's bring it all home with one single, actionable step you can take the moment this is over. So, after all this, if you only take away one core idea, what should it be? It's this. Don't wait to feel lost. Start now. Proactively, deliberately, and even joyfully, begin building a new identity for yourself, one that's firmly anchored in those twin pillars of learning something deeply and giving your unique wisdom away. As we wrap up, let's just remember where we started. That anxiety that can bubble up in retirement, it's not a personal failing. It has a clear structural source, the loss of those invisible anchors of role, structure, and validation that your career provided for so long. And the most empowering insight here is that there is a powerful solution. You can replace that old script by creating a new scheduled mission for yourself, a mission dedicated to mastering something new and contributing your unique wisdom. This is how you reclaim your sense of purpose on your own terms.
And here's a final reassuring thought. This isn't just about coping. By taking these steps, by defining your new self now, you are making a conscious choice. You're choosing to step into a future that's defined not by loss, but by profound purpose, quiet confidence, and an exciting journey of continued growth.
So here is your gentle challenge for today. Just two simple things. Grab a piece of paper. First, write down one skill you've always wanted to really master. Maybe it's playing the guitar, speaking Italian, or learning to code. Second, list one way you feel you could contribute your life's wisdom to others. Then, just combine them into a single sentence. Something like, my mission is to master landscape photography and contribute by mentoring young artists in my community. That's it. Write down that preliminary mission statement. Not tomorrow, not next week, today. This small act is the first, most important step in building your remarkable second identity. Thanks for joining me.